I'll be focusing on the death penalty, specifically in America. So the death penalty is a punishment that is carried out by the law when you commit capital crimes, and capital crimes are specifically crimes that of different variations of murder. So obviously they're very serious crimes. 19 states have abolished the death penalty in America, and since 2000, 835 people have been lawfully executed. But a big question surrounding the death penalty is whether it is immoral or not. And some people argue that the death penalty is good because it acts as a deterrent to criminals. As if you know that your life is going to be taken away from you, you would think that less people are going to want to commit crimes like murder and stuff like that. And some people disagree with the death penalty because they believe nobody should be able to take another human's life under any circumstances, and that nobody has the power to decide on another human being's life. And then, religiously wise, some Christians specifically will disagree with the death penalty because of the way Jesus acted towards violence himself, and that Jesus publicly stopped an execution, which is like what the death penalty is itself. And that he said to turn the other cheek, so often on many occasions Jesus opposed violence himself, so they believe that it's wrong to like kill anybody else. But some Christians agree with the death penalty because the death penalty or capital punishment was a substantial feature in the Israelite society. And since God implemented the capital punishment into his society, that it is ethical towards his nature, and so that it should be allowed because God implemented it himself. So, yeah. All questions?
Do you feel it was the right thing to get rid of the death penalty?
I don't personally think it's the right thing to get rid of the death penalty because, for instance, in the 19 states in America that there isn't the death penalty, somebody could go and kill 25, 30 people, and then they'd only get life in prison. But to somebody who really killed that amount of people, really deserve to still have their life with them, forever, until they die, obviously. And then at prison you get fed and all of that sort of stuff. So does somebody who really did something that bad deserve to live life in security? Yeah.
Don't you think a life in prison would be a bigger punishment than death? Because in death you don't have to live with your guilt anymore, but if you stayed in life imprisonment, then you'd have to constantly live with that guilt that you killed people or raped someone.
Yeah, well, I do think that is a big part as well, because some people, it plays on their mind, but then some people who have committed some of the crimes, they don't really have a sense of guilt often. Some of them do it out of anger that they feel at the time, but some of the people who do feel guilt, that is also a big punishment, because it's almost like a sense of torture, that you have something playing on your mind the whole time. And if, say, you commit a crime when you're 20, and then you spend the rest of your life till you're 80, and then you have to survive through the prison scheme, that's going to be difficult for somebody to do. But I think whether or not it's a big punishment to keep somebody in prison for the rest of their life, I think nobody should. I don't think you deserve your life if you have killed a large amount of people either way.
Aaron, you mentioned about you felt that because God implemented, Jesus rejected violence, therefore God is against that. You kind of touched on the topic of kind of free will. So God gave us free will. How do you think that falls into that? Do you think, by giving us free will, there's different paths to follow? How do you think that fits in with the sort of morality of the death sentence?
I know that God has given us free will, but I don't think the fact that humans have free will should decide whether they're allowed to kill another human either way, because obviously Jesus objected violence, but fact that we have free will shouldn't mean that we can. It still doesn't mean that we can do anything we want, because there's some things that are still morally wrong, like murder. But the free will has given humans a choice to commit murder if they wanted to. So I think either way there should be a punishment that, whether if you commit something so serious like murder.
Thank you.